Get into conversation with Professor Mcebisi Ndletyana, political analyst. Any surprises on your end on this announcement?
Hi, good afternoon. No, it was inevitable. I think the signs were clear very early on. As soon as you had Helen Zille coming back and you had John appointed as the interim leader, it was clear what kind of a dominant sentiment there was, because the mere election of Zille over Trollip was an indication that there was a kind of a hankering for the old days, especially because Zille had kind of distinguished herself as a conservative of sorts. So in kind of bringing him back, that was an indication that that was the kind of direction that the party was looking to go into. And so John was an affirmation of that redirection of the party. It was not. I think it was always clear that he would win from early on.
What did you make of the tone of his acceptance speech, using words like "they're coming for your home, your health and your savings"? Government wants to control you, and this power to the people narrative that he kept on using.
Well, it was actually reminiscent of Tony Leon's fight back strategy. There were very strong similarities there. It seeks to instill fear, to portray the DA as a protector against a state that is out to get people. It's kind of a defense of white privilege in a way, in the same way that Tony Leon articulated it back in 1999 or so. And of course, there is some truth in that message, in that state ownership has been somewhat discredited. A lot of things have gone wrong in this country in the last 10 years or so. And so when he says you need an efficient state, you need to spend money prudently, you need to run schools properly, employ competent people, all those things make a lot of sense, right? But at the same time, the solution does not necessarily lie in the market, with the market rather. You still need the state, especially in a country like ours, where you have huge inequalities. So you need the state to regulate properly to ensure that those who don't have equal access are given that access. Like, for instance, part of the reason why the land issue in this country has not been solved is because for a very long time, the state deferred to the market to sell, to determine their prices and not stamp its authority. And here you're not talking of taking agricultural land. You're talking of vacant plots of land in the urban areas, for instance, which could be used to build houses. So you do need the state to limit the accesses of the market, to make sure that certain things that are important for the development of the country are there. At the same time, of course, you do need to limit its involvement, because by now it's quite clear that there are a lot of incapacities and inefficiencies within the state and a lot of corruption. So one can't fault John on that one. But just as important as the message is the messenger. For me, the tricky part will be the messenger who delivers this message. Because from the looks of things, the DA has decided that only its white leadership can fix this country's problems. So the imagery of that exclusively white party affirms racial stereotypes that only white folk can do these things. So that's the tricky part. And of course, when it comes to dealing with racially sensitive issues, I doubt that this DA will step up to criticize people who are involved in racism. They would skirt around those issues. So those things are going to haunt them.